gorgeous! Happy Frugal Friday to you. We're doing another foundation test today. Only I'm going to add in a concealer with this test. We're testing out the Hard Candy Glamoflauge concealer and foundation. I've had a lot of questions about this one, and I've had them sitting around for a while now. I've never used them, so I put them to the test this past week to see how long they would last. And in this video, I'll be showing you not only a demo of how it applies onto the face, but I'll also do a check-in at the end of the video so you can see how well or how badly these products wore. Real quick before we get started, if you would like to see a tutorial for the eye look I'm wearing in this video, I will have that video linked for you below. Okay, we are testing out the Glamoflauge concealer and the foundation, and I'm going to do this very similarly to how I did the Rimmel test. I'm going to apply one half of my face with a brush, both of these products, and then the other side with a beauty blender so you can see the difference if there is any. Ooh, first time using the Glamoflauge concealer, and it is very runny. Very runny. Oh my goodness. On this side, I'll use the e.l.f. concealer brush to blend this in. It actually blends in rather nicely. I don't notice any streakiness or anything like that. You can't really tell where I applied it, which is a very desirable asset. And it did lighten the area underneath my eye too, so I like it so far. Now let's try it with a beauty blender. Okay, I feel like the application is a little bit more smooth with a beauty blender, less work to get it to blend into the skin. It's more likely to sink into the skin faster with a beauty blender than it would be with a brush, I feel like. Brush, beauty blender. A little quicker application over here than it was over here, a little bit more work with a brush. For the foundation, we're going to do the same thing, brush and beauty blender. So the foundation has a pump, which is a nice feature because I really hate when you get foundations that don't have a pump. So let's check the consistency here. Ooh! It's got some firepower behind it. Okay. We'll have to hold our hand up like this to catch it, I guess. My gosh! Alright, same consistency as the concealer. Very runny, not creamy at all. Don't know if I like how runny it is. I would like for it to be a little bit more solid in consistency, just not running all over the place. Ugh. Not gonna judge it though, we're just going to apply it. So do the beauty blender on this side. By the way, the beauty blender is damp, so I am applying this with a damp beauty blender. Alright, we use a angled stippling brush on this side. Looks to be a pretty good color match so far, and we'll test the smell. It does have a little bit of a chemical smell to it, but you can't smell it when you put it on your face. You almost have to hold it up to your nose to be able to smell it, but it's there. And applying a light dusting on the face. And I'll be back at the end of the day to show you how it wears and whether or not it oxidizes. Obviously, the first thing you can tell is that I am shiny, disco ball shiny, but that is to be expected. That's the very first thing that happens to me when a foundation starts to break down. So especially right here around the T-zone area is where a lot of the shine started to come through. I would say that this occurred more around the 6 to 7 hour mark, and we're at the 9 hour mark here. As far as how the foundation and the concealer wore throughout the day, I would say they were pretty good. The concealer did start to fall apart underneath this eye. You can see it starting to break down underneath this eye. This eye, not so much. It is starting to, but it's not anywhere near as bad as it is over here. And the foundation itself, I feel like some of it did rub off over here. I did have a lot of foundation on my phone periodically throughout the day too. But on this side, it still looks pretty good. Hasn't really moved overall. Didn't oxidize. I'm still color matched completely. You can't tell that I'm wearing foundation from my face to my neck, so that is a plus. Final verdict? I was not so happy with the Glamoflauge concealer. I felt like it was okay for a drugstore concealer, but I didn't like how it started to separate under my eye towards the end of the day. Kind of funky that it only happened on one eye too, because I didn't do anything differently to either eye. Foundation was pretty good in terms of how well it wore. I don't feel like it was sliding off by the end of the day. It did get a lot more oily than I had expected it to. In comparison with the Rimmel 25-hour foundation that I tested last week, I do feel like it was getting more splotchy on my face by the end of the day. I could see certain places around my face where it was starting to wear off. Not too happy about that. So the way that I go about judging products and recommending them to you is, are these products that I would use on a personal basis? For me personally, I would have to say no to both the concealer and the foundation. I just wasn't that happy with how they wore. I would have liked a little bit of a longer wear time and less of a splotchy application by the end of the day. It just looked like my face was falling apart. So I say no to both of these products, but if you have tried them out, you have a different opinion, please let me know your thoughts on these products also. I would love to hear your comments and feedback. And if you have a request for a future Frugal Friday, please feel free to share it below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you again next week.